Hi, I'm Ethan Hawke, and I was born in Austin, Texas, and grew up around Fort Worth. And some of my best childhood memories are of camping in the Texas state parks with my dad, where he taught me all about the outdoors and showed me some of Texas' most amazing natural areas. From the wetlands and beaches of the Gulf Coast, to swimming holes filled with children, to the breathtaking beauty of Big Bend Ranch, to the birthplace of Texas, our state parks are a vital part of what makes us Texan. Hiking, camping, fishing, or just relaxing in these diverse and unique parks has been a Lone Star tradition for generations. For many of us, enjoying these wild places is a treasured bond to share with our children. And of course, there's the crucial role our state parks play in keeping our drinking water supply pure and stable by collecting rainwater and allowing rivers to flow through pollution-free wetlands on their way to the reservoirs. But our state parks are even more than places of natural beauty and flowing waterways. Many of them serve as a tribute to the heroes who forged this great state. But today, our state parks are in a state of crisis. Years of budget cuts have left many parks in disrepair. Layoffs of dozens of park staff late last year has meant restrictions on public access at some parks. All across Texas, our natural and historical heritage is being neglected. Now, new proposed budget cuts could force the State Parks Department to close as many as 18 parks. That means, if we don't act soon, these vital parts of our heritage could disappear forever. One of Texas' most iconic parks is an area of pristine and rugged wilderness. A visitor to Big Bend Ranch in western Texas can see the same mountain skyline and haunting desert landscape that ranchers who drove Longhorn through the region experienced generations ago. And if you're looking for adventure or just a way to cool off, rafting or kayaking down the portion of the Rio Grande that flows through Big Bend is just the ticket. If you're lucky, you might even see some of the park's historic residents. Big Bend Ranch State Park is one of the few places in Texas that boasts a herd of wild longhorn cattle. And they're not alone. There are 11 species of rare plants and animals that call Big Bend home. These animals range from the tiny Colima warbler to the elusive mountain lion. All of this adds up to some of the best outdoor living in the world, and it is the right of every Texan to enjoy this wild, open space. With all that we have to gain from state parks like Big Bend, you'd think that the legislature would make protecting these Texas treasures a priority. But that's not the case. In fact, the budget crisis led the Parks Department to even consider selling off a portion of Big Bend. And Big Bend Ranch is not the only park at risk. Even Texas' most popular natural treasures have become victims of neglect. Nowhere is that clearer and more unfortunate than at one of Texas' oldest and dearest state parks, Garner State Park in Concan, Texas. To many of us, a trip to Garner State Park is something to look forward to all summer. Named after Cactus Jack Garner, native Texan and vice president to Franklin Roosevelt, the park has its own interesting role in our state's history. Most of the facilities, including the park's famed Dance Hall Pavilion, were built by the Civilian Conservation Corps during the 1930s. Men out of work during the Great Depression set upon this beautiful wilderness that hugs the cool waters of the Frio River and turned it into one of the premier campgrounds in the country. Today, the park stands as a tribute to the hard-working Texas spirit of the men who built it. Garner is the most popular state park in Texas for overnight camping, hosting over 200,000 campers each year. Visitors hike the park's nature trails, go swimming, boating, or tubing in the Frio River to cool off during the day, and spend the night two-stepping at the park's famous dance floor. But budget cuts have left the park a shadow of what it could be. The Dance Pavilion, host to generations of Texas marriages, parties, and family gatherings, has fallen into extreme disrepair. Decades of heavy use without enough funding for proper upkeep threaten the park's reputation and dishonor the work of those who built it. If we are forced to close down 18 state parks, we will lose more than some campgrounds and some traditions. We will lose a vital piece of Texas history and culture, but we don't have to let it happen. The good news is that money is available to protect our state parks. Sales taxes on sporting goods are supposed to go towards the park system. Unfortunately, other funding priorities have led the legislature to divert much of this money to other places. Recently, a Blue Ribbon Commission called on the legislature to use all of the money of the sporting goods tax, an additional $85 million per year, towards state and local parks. And funding for the creation of new parks near major cities like Fort Worth, Houston, and San Antonio would give more Texans the opportunity to experience everything our state has to offer, as well as protecting threatened ecosystems like the forests of the Cross Timber region, the Gulf Coast prairies, and the Texas Hill Country. As Texans, our state parks belong to us. These places embody who we are, where we come from, and how we live. And that means it's up to us to keep them safe. With the right commitment from our politicians and enough public support, we could have the world-class park system that Texas deserves. We owe it to our forefathers, to ourselves, and to our children to keep our parks open, accessible, safe, and well-managed. Please join Environment Texas Research and Policy Center in the fight to save our parks by visiting our website at www.environmenttexas.org/center.